Calais Campbell finally broke his silence, and what he revealed about the Ravens caught a lot of people off guard. Because after all the controversy surrounding his exit back in 2023, Campbell has now opened up about how he truly felt during that moment. But the behind-the-scenes part of this story is even crazier. Failed reunion attempts, pressure from Eric DeCosta, and one powerful statement that could completely change the way people viewed that entire situation in Baltimore. When the Ravens released Calais Campbell in 2023, a lot of people looked at it and thought, all right, just another NFL business decision. But now Campbell himself has made it clear that, for him, it hit way harder than most people realized. And honestly, it's hard to listen to this interview without feeling the emotional weight behind it. Campbell revealed that it was the first time in his entire career that a team had ever cut him. And then came the quote that really stood out. He described the experience as humbling, coming from a player of his caliber that carries serious weight. We're talking about one of the most respected veterans in the NFL, a guy known for leadership, professionalism, and the way he's carried himself throughout his entire career. What makes it even more interesting is that Campbell made it clear he understood the Ravens' side of things. Baltimore needed cap space because of Lamar Jackson's contract situation, and the organization was under major pressure against the clock. Campbell even said it himself during the interview. It's business. It is what it is. In other words, he knew this was part of the NFL, but at the same time, you can tell this still affects him emotionally, because understanding a decision logically is one thing. Hearing that you're being released for the first time in your career is something completely different, especially after building such a strong connection with the Ravens organization and that locker room. And that's exactly where this story starts getting even more interesting. Because despite that exit in 2023, the behind-the-scenes details show Baltimore never truly stopped trying to bring Campbell back. One of the biggest revelations from this interview was this. Calais Campbell leaving in 2023 did not mean the Ravens wanted to move on from him permanently. In fact, Baltimore's original plan was to bring him back shortly after releasing him. And honestly, that changes the way a lot of people viewed that entire situation. According to Campbell, the Ravens first needed to solve the financial situation surrounding Lamar Jackson before they could reorganize the roster. The problem was that Lamar's contract negotiations dragged on much longer than expected. While Baltimore was trying to figure everything out internally, Campbell received a strong offer from the Atlanta Falcons, and that changed everything quickly. And looking at it from his side, accepting that deal made complete sense. Campbell revealed that Atlanta offered him a raise and that he also liked the way the Falcons planned to use him defensively. His quote was very direct. I ended up getting a raise in Atlanta. I liked the way Atlanta was going to use me. So this wasn't just about money. It was also about having an opportunity to stay impactful on the field. What's really impressive is that even after he left, the Ravens continued monitoring Campbell the entire time. Reports revealed Baltimore tried bringing him back over the last few years through trades, especially around the trade deadline. There was even a deal with the Miami Dolphins that reportedly got very close before head coach Mike McDaniel shut it down. To me, that clearly shows the Ravens never stopped believing in the impact Campbell could still have on this team. And that brings us to the part that probably explains why this reunion finally happened now. Because this time, Eric DeCosta made it crystal clear just how badly Baltimore wanted Calais Campbell back. One of the strongest moments from this interview came when Calais Campbell revealed how much pressure Eric DeCosta put on bringing him back this offseason. Based on the way Campbell described it, this wasn't some routine call from a GM looking to add depth to the roster. You can tell Baltimore truly viewed his return as something important for this team. Campbell himself made that very clear when he said, "This has been a long time coming." According to him, this reunion had been building for years. But this offseason felt completely different. Campbell revealed that Eric DeCosta had been calling him almost every year, but this time the message changed entirely. The Ravens GM reportedly told him, "I've got to have you. This is going to make a big difference." And honestly, I think that says a lot about how the Ravens view Calais Campbell internally. Because we're talking about a player entering a season at nearly 40 years old. Yet Baltimore clearly believes he can still impact meaningful football games, not just on the field, but inside the locker room, through leadership, and especially in big moments late in the season. Another interesting detail is that Campbell admitted feeling genuinely wanted played a huge role in his decision. And honestly, that's completely understandable. Every player wants to feel important, especially at this stage of their career. Especially someone like Campbell, who could have easily chosen a more comfortable situation or simply retired without having anything left to prove. Instead, he chose to return to a team that clearly believes there's still high-level football left in him. And when you look at Campbell's recent production, the Ravens may have very good reasons for believing that. One of the craziest parts of this entire story is that Calais Campbell simply refuses to slow down. Normally, when a player approaches 40 years old in the NFL, especially a defensive lineman, the expectation is a major physical decline. But Campbell keeps producing at a high level even at this stage of his career. And honestly, that's extremely rare. After leaving the Ravens, he played for the Falcons, Dolphins, and Cardinals, and stayed productive everywhere he went. In Atlanta alone, he finished with 6.5 sacks at 37 years old. Then he added 5 sacks in Miami and another 6.5 in Arizona. To me, those numbers make it very clear he's not coming back to Baltimore just because of nostalgia or locker room leadership. He can still impact games on the field. What makes it even more interesting is that Campbell knows plenty of people still doubt him because of his age. During the interview, he revealed that some general managers have even told him he's eventually going to fall off a cliff. But honestly, it sounds like he uses that as fuel. Because when asked about how he feels physically right now, Campbell answered very confidently, "I feel good." Then he followed that up with something I thought was really important. Campbell said his body feels very similar to how it felt last season, and he liked the season he had last year. He also believes being back in Baltimore will give him more chances to show up in meaningful games and high-pressure moments. His quote was direct, "Hopefully I can do that again, maybe a little bit more, just because I feel like we'll be in big moments a lot more often." And honestly, I think that's exactly what Baltimore sees here. The Ravens didn't bring Campbell back just because of his name or his history with the franchise. They truly believe he can still help this team win important football games. But there's an even bigger reason behind his unbelievable longevity in the NFL. If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button to help the purple flock grow. Maybe the strongest part of this entire interview came when Calais Campbell started talking about why he's still playing. Because honestly, at almost 40 years old, with money, respect, and pretty much a future Hall of Fame career already secured, he doesn't have anything left to prove to anyone. But it's clear his motivation was never just about recognition or stats. Campbell made that obvious when he talked about how much he truly loves football. One quote in particular stood out. "I don't know if there's many people who love football as much as me." And honestly, when you look at the way he still trains, competes, and produces at this age, it's hard to doubt him. Nobody lasts this long in the NFL without genuinely loving the grind behind it. One of the most interesting things he said was when he described football as a truth teller. To me, that was one of the best moments of the entire interview. Campbell explained that football always reveals whether you truly put the work in or not. As he said, it's a truth teller. The game exposes everything quickly. If you didn't train hard enough, study enough, or prepare the right way, the field will expose you immediately, and I honestly think that mentality explains why he's still able to play at such a high level near 40 years old. Campbell also spoke a lot about competition, facing the best players in the world, and how much he loves helping teammates raise their level too. You can clearly tell he still genuinely enjoys every part of this process. He doesn't sound like someone just hanging around for ego or money. Now Baltimore is betting that all of that experience, leadership, and passion for football can help push this team toward the next level. And honestly, after hearing this interview, it's pretty clear Calais Campbell isn't returning to the Ravens just to finish his career. He truly believes he can still be part of something special in Baltimore. With all the business decisions, roster moves, and constant pressure to win in the NFL, this interview reminded people of something that often gets forgotten. Behind every player, there's pride, emotion, and a real connection to the franchise. And after hearing everything Campbell had to say, it's obvious this story with the Ravens was never truly over. At the same time, his return comes at an important moment for Baltimore. Because even close to 40 years old, Campbell still believes he can help this team in big games. And honestly, based on how hard the Ravens pushed to bring him back, it's pretty obvious the organization believes that too. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Calais Campbell can still be an important piece for this Ravens defense in 2026? And after hearing these comments, do you look at his 2023 exit differently now? Let me know in the comments. And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out and I'll see you in the next video.